Hello, hello, hello. I'm freezing. Okay. My daughter had to help me. I was having technical difficulties. I hope y'all can hear me. Yeah, Nace, I was like shocked. I wasn't going to. Hey, cool gamer. Jen, I know that's my only hope. Jen Lou does have a live tonight at 9, so if you want to hop over there, um, she's amazing. I love her stuff. Hey, Sarah, thank you. I heard YouTube's breaking right now. Like things are going crazy, chaos. And all I can say is I'm just so happy I'm not a part of it. Hey, Kate. Um, but yeah, check out Jen Lou at 9. I was just talking to Jax about this, and I'm not just saying it because she's in chat. But you are like one of the most knowledgeable true crime creators I think I've ever come across. Like you just know a case for every situation. So it's so cool. But yeah, Jen, I was, thinking, whatever. Hey, Danielle. Hey, Ava. Yeah, Danielle. So I was shocked. I wasn't going to go live tonight. And then I just said to Amber and Punkette and a couple of other girls, I was like, are they really, has no one talked about this? So as most of us know, here's a couple things I want to go. Right, Nace. So I want to go over it's here. It happened. They released the probable cause affidavit. The judge gave a statement in Delphi of why she, that's all right, Sarah, why she made the decision that she did. Hey, criminality. Haven, do you have me? Sorry, do you have me set up so I can hear? Just a minute, my daughter's helping me. Because I'm incapable of working anything. Do you have? Get out of the camera. Do you have?
I'm gonna help you to turn off the camera or something.
Oh, it's okay.
You haven't disseminated already.
It's okay. Yeah, I just don't like you on here now. Okay. Anyways, I got you. I got it.
Don't you need to hear out of it?
You have me set up to hear. It's okay. It's all right. It's good. I don't need to hear anybody. We're good.
No, turn it up.
Oh, turn it up. Oh, okay. I got it. All right. Let me talk.
On the back.
Yeah.
On the back.
Love you.
On that side, back.
On this side, in the back. Okay.
I won't deal with the camera. If you hold down this side, here, hold it.
She's helping me. 1 second. Let's chat amongst ourselves. Is the child on payroll? I'm really I don't mind her being seen, but I don't know. As I get more subs and stuff, I don't know. It just feels kind of weird.
Settings real quick so I can get it so you can.
Hey, well, I just doxed her own name. You did read it live? Kate, I told you not to go live without me.
Go to audio. Go to speaker.
Jen, one of my friends.
Go to speaker.
I don't know where that is. Oh,
and that's right there. Go to high definition audio.
Oh, hello. Okay, good.
Press test.
I don't know how to do. Thank you. Wow. Jen Lou wants your allowance raised. So, all right. Bye. Thank you. Love you.
I'm broke.
You're broke. It's true. Kate, I can't believe you went live and I didn't know that. But hey, Jameson. Hey, Sarah. Yeah. So if you're like me, YouTube is breaking down everywhere else, but not us. We are having fun over here. Couple things I want to say. So I have also read too that all right, Kate, that here's 2 things I just read. Leilani is, according to her family, is on unaliving watch. She has been since Monday. Okay. And allegedly Billy Joe she has submitted something or started the process to submit to try to get it changed to a different venue because she doesn't believe she's going to get a fair trial. Yeah, that's what I thought, Ava. So they were making a big deal. See, I thought, guys, okay, Jen, yeah. I thought it was pretty standard for them, but they were making a really big deal about the being on watch and stuff. And I was like, didn't they usually that's kind of. Now I'm going to say this. this is what I'm talking about. At 1 minute I feel bad for BJ, the next minute she goes ahead and does something, and then I don't. Like, I don't care if you think you're going to get a fair trial. I'm not sure if anyone else caught this, but in Quentin's obituary, what was written in his obituary was the exact thing that Leilani said in her first interview. Remember when she did an interview on Cher's channel and she was like, and he does PJ, whatever, all that stuff? It was almost word for word his obituary. And I'm just like, that's what I thought, Ava. Allegedly, she said she is going through the process to get a change of venue because she does not believe that she's going to get a fair trial, which, all right. Yeah, that's what I thought, Jen. Jen, I'm curious, do you think that that the judge is going to give her a change of venue? I'm just curious in chat. Do any of you think she's going to get a change of venue? Oh, anybody can come up. They're welcome. Everybody's always welcome. I just didn't know if I could hear you before. My new thing should be coming, my new headphones. Probably. That, well, according to Billy Joe, because it's a national case, she said. Yeah. I don't think so either. I mean, although, okay, and let me just say one more thing. I'm going to start talking about this. Oh, there's Kate.
Hey.
I can really hear you.
You can hear me?
Yeah, my kid is awesome. Except she turned it up really loud. Okay. Wow. Oh, hey, Sandy. Can we also just, since we're talking about Leilani, because I call her that, did you watch some of Casey Anthony?
I watched like 5 minutes and then fell asleep. I seen up to like where she was like literally 5 minutes. I seen where she started pulling out all the pictures and she showed that one of like her dressed up in that like cute outfit. And then she showed another one that was like on the wall. And then probably like 5 minutes after that, I fell asleep. So that was literally like the first 5 minutes, I think.
Jen, I'm just making sure it's you. Okay. Okay. Would I get struck if I tried to play it on here one night for people that don't have like Peacock? Do they?
Yes. 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 Yes.
Do like a backup channel. We can do it in my Discord.
NBC is notoriously strike happy.
NBC, that's right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They love a cop. What they more than likely do, actually, Parker, is not give you a full strike. What they probably do is give you a copyright claim, which means that any revenue that you would make, but more than likely before you even got to that point, they just shut the stream down, period.
Yeah,
for
you're
content
right.
ID.
Yeah, that's right. Have you watched any of it, Jen?
Oh yeah. I'm on episode 2 and I'm already pissed.
I'm trying. I have to take it in doses because there was something that she said that I went, there's the real Casey. When she was showing a picture in the very beginning and Kaylee was making some face and she said, well, I told her to stop and take a picture and this is what she did. This
is what she gave me. Yeah, that was her.
I was like,
that's how she really felt.
Yep, there is the real Casey right there. And those little pieces of glimpse. Oh, it's so aggravating.
But I did want to answer you about this change of venue situation. So I'll say this. George Wagner, his defense attorneys tried for a change of venue, and they cited actually some really good reasons. Number one, the case was well known in Pike County, which is where it took place, right? There were daily press conferences by both the attorney general and the sheriff at the time, right? So there was a ton of media coverage, all right? There was topics, there was Facebook, not so much YouTube, but a lot of topics and Facebook coverage. And then the other thing he cited, which I thought was actually smart, was the low voter turnout, or low not voter jury duty turnout in Pike County. And so, because it was special because it was a death penalty case. It's not now, but it was at the time, right? So he was saying, we barely have any people turn out anyways for jury summonses in Pike County, but then we have to have them to be death penalty qualified jurors, which is even more difficult. It's a different process, right? But the judge said, oh, hell no, this happened here. This is going to be tried here. And they ended up being able to. Now, if I were Billy Joe, this is what I would do. I would start collecting the evidence off of YouTube. That's where I would start. Of how many people watched Bullhorn Betty, Dolly Vision, Molly Golightly, all of the views from those streams that were in front of the house. I would send video footage of the stuff from in front of the house. I would absolutely start with YouTube. And then I would work my way from YouTube, because that's going to be the easiest. Then I would work my way from YouTube over to Facebook, because Facebook had a ton of groups about it.
The groups.
Mm-hmm. Which everybody knows, except for Mark Zuckerberg's ad people who show commercials for Facebook groups as if they're a wonderful thing. Oh, it's community. You meet new people. It's wonderful. That's a lie, Zuckerberg. You know it and I know it. All the dirt goes down in the Facebook groups. Stop trying to trap people.
Yep.
So yeah.
It's going to be crazy, but like Melissa Jade was saying and stuff, YouTube, we said, was going to be damaged, could damage this case, and this might be in one of the ways that it does. Is she grounds?
I mean, they would just move it to another county, right? Like,
yeah, they'll just move it to another county, and they'll get okay. So for Casey Anthony, right? Her jury came from where I'm at, Pinellas County. Mm-hmm. So they have.
Sorry.
They have that option too.
I don't think it's that big of a case that I mean, they could probably, but I just don't. I mean, it got national media attention, but I don't think it's that big of a case. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know.
You have I think back in the day, like when Casey Anthony, so you have to sort of figure out, you have to sort of move with the times, right? So the thing about YouTube that's cool is that you can see the views of each video, right? And I would imagine that if we were to take the data from Nancy Grace when she was covering Casey Anthony, right? I would imagine that it's probably very comparable in numbers to the amount of views that Bullhorn Betty, Chronicles of Olivia, and Dolly Vision got.
Got that case, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's what they're going to look at. How tainted is this jury pool?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's popular in the true crime community, but I don't feel like it's popular in America. You know what I mean?
I thought that too, but my mom, who doesn't even follow, she doesn't even follow me. But she follows Natasha and those guys. I'm just kidding. No, she doesn't follow.
Wouldn't that be something? She's subbed to Natasha, but not to you. That would be kind of funny.
But even she heard about this case, so
I tried to keep my dad from knowing that I'm online because
I don't. Yeah,
I curse all the time, and I'm just foul online, and I'm 34 years, about to be 34 years old on Saturday, and I'm still afraid to curse in front of my dad.
Your birthday is Saturday?
Yes, it is. My birthday is
okay. Time out. Did you guys just see what Nace said? Am I understanding this? Bullhorn Betty is in Iowa?
Moscow, yeah.
For what?
Do their regular grifting. Their regular grifting. I don't know. They better not start protesting because that shit's gonna piss me off because they're doing a good job, I think.
Well, I don't think first of all, what the hell is there to protest? Number one. Sorry, I have to get some ice. Number two.
Are you doing dishes?
No, I got to get ice. I'm parched. I be reading people for filth left and right, and it's thirsty work. Okay. there's nothing to protest, but what they could be doing is trying to get interviews with people, which would be the worst fucking case scenario. These, first of all, you have to think about the demographic. Okay, these are teenagers still, young adults even, right?
Oh yeah,
They're secretive beasts.
Yeah.
Okay. And they don't, the reason that a lot of them aren't talking to law enforcement is because they're scared to.
Yeah. They're scared
So,
of
They'll talk to YouTubers and shit. Watch. I mean, right now.
yes,
they're
exactly.
getting
But they
a lot
don't
of
need to be
attention
talking to
in
YouTubes. They need to be talking to the popos and tell them what
Yeah.
they know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I
They,
agree.
if any of you college kids are in Idaho right now and you're hesitant to talk to the popos, trust and believe they're not going to pinch you for a little bit of weed. Okay, just go talk to them. If you know something, tell them. They're not going to pinch you because you have, an eighth of weed. I promise, they're not.
Yeah.
I agree.
They don't care about that.
Well, here we have it, ladies. So one thing that Jen said in chat that is really important. So this is just all we have of the affidavit. This is not all of it. This is not
They might
all
have released all their evidence. They might have just released what they thought was enough to get an arrest, and that's it.
Yeah,
right. This is what they used.
There's a murder on the loose, and BHB's head not in there is whatever. But yeah. So this is what they have released, and people are up in arms because they say they don't have enough info, but we do have to remember that this isn't all of it. So I know Kate read some of it, but it just says victim 1, we'll go down to the part. Victim 1 and victim 2 were found deceased in the woods approximately 0.2 miles northeast of, I can still not say that, Monon High Bridge in Carroll County. The bodies were located on North Deer Creek. We already knew that. It said, we're going to go through interviews, reviews of electronic records, and review of video at Hoosier Harvest Store. Where is that? That must be right. Okay. Investigators believe victim 1 and victim 2 were dropped off across from Mears Farm at 1:49 on February 13th. The Mears Farm, located on the north side of County Road 300 North, near entrance to the trails. The video of victim 2, which I'm going to assume is at Libby, phone shows that at 2:13, victim 1 and victim 2 encountered a male subject, bridge guy. The male ordered the girls down the hill. No witnesses saw them after this time. No outgoing communications were found on victim 2's phone at this time. The bodies were discovered February 14th. The video recovered from victim 2's phone shows victim 1 walking southeast on the Monon High Bridge while subject wearing a dark jacket and jeans walks behind her. All right. As the male subject approaches victim 1 and 2, one of the victims mentions gun. So we haven't heard that. So yeah, we didn't hear. Yeah. Okay. So really quick, it was alleged, some people had said that you could hear her say gun on the thing. I just could never pull it out and hear it.
I couldn't. I never heard it either. Okay. What I'll say is this: I heard her say something, but
Okay.
I wasn't confident that that's what she said. But I'm also listening on a 3-year-old phone with beat up old earbuds. So to be fair,
Right.
the FBI and law enforcement, they have enhancers and stuff like that. So yeah.
Hey, Remy. Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. So yeah. So somebody did hear correctly. I mean, that's pretty crazy. So, okay. Wow. Wow. Sorry. That's pretty I mean, at least a lot of people speculated he had something to get them go down the hill. And so I think a gun would be. Near the end of a video, a male is seen and heard telling the girls, guys, down the hill. The girls proceed down the hill and the video ends. Oh, a still photograph.
It was like a 43-second video, and I guess the part they cut out was them saying the part about the gun, which is smart because they needed to know that, and they can't release that information if somebody comes and confesses who's full of shit and doesn't even know that a gun was used. You know what I mean?
Very true. So wait, so for 43 seconds, that's all they got was guys down the hill. The
For
audio.
43 seconds, they got them videotape. All right, so he was walking on the bridge, and they started videotaping him. And then they said gun. Like, they noticed he had a gun. He must have been, like, flashing it or something to get, like, to scare them. And then then you hear him walk up to them in the video and say, guys, down the hill. And then they start walking down the hill, and that's how the video ends.
Yeah,
And,
absolutely, Remy. I mean, those girls, the brave. I would like to think I would do that in a situation, you know, be as brave as those girls were of Libby recording. But I got to tell you, no, I don't think I would.
And it sounds like he was there before them, waiting for them.
Wow. Yeah, I don't think so either. Or I think you're right, Nace. I still think he might have operated alone. But so, okay.
I don't.
I know. Clothes were found in the creek.
I'm with Kate. I think he had help.
Yeah.
I think he either had help or he was one of those people using. I think the Anthony Shots account is tied to this.
This is what. Yes, that
he was either
that's
using
the help.
the Anthony Shots account or somebody or Kegan or Tony lured them there for him. That's what I think.
Now that is very possible.
That's where I am at with Kate. That's what I mean by when I say help. Like, nobody was physically there, but he had help to lure those girls there.
That I think might be that I'm with
they
you.
said he looked like he was on a mission, and then that the one lady saw him standing on the first pylon just waiting, and the girls weren't there yet. And then the girls walk up afterwards. So it's like he knew they were going to be there and what time, and he got there early and he waited for them to show up.
I think those sweet girls thought they were going to be meeting somebody different online that day. I think that's what it was. I think it was a ruse.
I think they started videotaping too for that because they were like, "Oh my god!" It probably all connected for them that Anthony Shots wasn't Anthony Shots and it was this guy, you know.
It probably clicked, and then it was too late. Those poor things, poor girls.
There was 40 caliber unspent round that was 2 feet away from victim 2's body, which would be Libby, and between victim 1 and victim 2's body, the round was unspent and had extraction marks on it. Okay,
which means that he unloaded the gun right there.
Yeah. So basically, it's like putting a bullet in the mag, right? Then you load the gun, then you cock the bullet and put it in the chamber. So it's in the chamber now, and it gets scratch marks around it from being in the chamber. Then he unloaded it before he shot it. So the casing was still on the bullet because when you shoot it, the casing and the bullet separate. So he cocked it the other way and unloaded it and let the bullet fall out of the gun.
And didn't pick it up.
Which is so stupid. Like,
that's really weird.
He's the dumbest criminal ever. Well,
honestly,
it's smart to an extent not to leave it there, but if he was walking back on the road with blood covered all over him, then having a loaded gun, you know, was probably wouldn't be the best idea. I don't know. So,
well, I think what happened is I think he thought he got them all, and I think he missed one. You know, it's funny what you
and stuff.
Yeah. I think he just missed it.
Maybe.
So they interviewed 3 juveniles, and they advised, basically they gave him a male, or they gave the description of a male walking from Freedom Bridge toward the Monon High Bridge, described as kind of creepy, and advised he was wearing like blue jeans, blue jacket, hair was a little gray, and he did not really show his face. She advised the jacket was a duck canvas type jacket. Advised, she said hi to the male, but he just glared at them. She recalled him being in all black and had something covering his mouth. She described him as not very tall with a bigger build. And 5'10". He was wearing a black hoodie, black jeans, and black boots, and had his hands in his pocket. So like exactly like he did when he saw them.
Exactly. Isn't that crazy and scary? Yeah. Like he kept his demeanor the entire time. And I don't know why that messes with me so much, but it does.
This is my first time reading it. I just got
this will be like my 3rd time here. I read it twice myself. And then and now I'm listening to you. I missed you, Kate. I don't know how I didn't get your notification, babe. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. It was a little bit earlier. I had to convince my son to give me an hour. I took him to the pet store so I could have an hour to read it. So I was in a rush and just threw it up on there.
I'm just like, you're right. It's that he just was so, just, he kept his demeanor. It's exactly that, like he just kept going and, oh my gosh. So, oh, there's more. Okay. So, the photographs, wait, I missed that part. Oh, blank. Oh, it's redacted. That's why. Showed investigators photographs she took on her phone while she was on the trail that day. The photographs included a photo of the Munan High Bridge taken at 12:43 and another one taken at 1:26 on the bench east of the Freedom Bridge. Advised after she took the photo of the bench, they started walking back toward Freedom Bridge. She advised that was when they encountered the man who matched the description of the photograph taken from victim two's video. Described the man she encountered on the trail as wearing a blue or black windbreaker jacket. She advised the jacket had a collar and he had his hood up. From the clothing underneath his jacket, she advised he was wearing baggy jeans and was taller than her. And she said his head came up to approximately, her head came up approximately to her shoulder. She said hi, and the man said hi, nothing back. She stated he was walking with a purpose, like he knew where he was going. He had his hands in his pocket and kept his head down. She advised she did not.
It wasn't like he was looking for random kids to
No.
pick up.
No.
He was walking straight to that spot, did not want anyone to see him, did not want anyone to recognize him. He knew exactly what he was doing. Like they knew that spot would have been an easy spot once they're over the bridge. I mean, you can't turn around, so you're literally trapped. So it was a genius spot, really. If they chose that spot, it was a genius spot for them because you're really trapped once you get on the bridge.
So who's more females? So it says video from the Hoosier Harvester captured vehicle traveling eastbound at 146 towards the entrance. Advised she saw 4 juvenile females walking over the Old State Road, and
they were the witnesses, I think.
No, I think what it is 2 of them are the witnesses, because it sounds like from the affidavit they have 2 witnesses and then they have the girls, right?
Okay.
And she likely saw 4 of them, not together because it's worded interestingly, but she saw 4 total. That's how I read it or interpreted it, but I could be wrong.
The witnesses didn't see the other girl, so they would have had to see them not together.
Hey, Sleuth, sorry if I missed anybody because I have to click back. I am done. So this is the first I've read it because I thought it'd be fun to read it with you guys. And half the time my mouth is hung open because I can't believe that he went by all of these girls. I mean, he clearly was there for them.
Right. The fact that so if he were just there looking, right? This was not arranged. This was just pure happenstance, right? Why did he treat the first 2 girls that approached him, right, or saw him the way that he did? Yeah. That makes no sense. He was there with a specific purpose. He was there to meet those Abby and Libby. That's what he was there for. It was not happenstance.
Right here that the one of the witnesses saying she saw him standing on the first platform of the bridge approximately 50 feet from her. She advised she turned around at the bridge and continued her walk. She advised approximately halfway between the bridge and the parking area across from Mears Farm, she passed 2 girls, Abby and Libby, I would imagine. And she advised she believed the girls were victim 1 and victim 2. Okay, sorry, this is my first. So he was there. He was already there.
He was waiting for the girls. Yes.
My mind is blown. I did not think that he was there. I thought he came
that's what Kate and I are trying to say. Like, bruh, he was there. He was waiting for them.
Yeah, he was standing on the first pylon alone before the girls got there, because the witness saw him before the girls got there, because they have the time frame of when the girls got there, and it was like 2:45. So he was there waiting for them.
And the other two girls saw him before.
Yeah.
Abby
my.
and Libby did. And one of the girls said hi to him and he ignored her, which tells me that he was there not just randomly hoping that he would come across two girls. He was there to meet two girls,
Yeah.
two
He
specific
didn't even want those
girls.
girls to see him. He didn't even look up or
Correct.
anything. He was hiding his face
Correct.
from them.
Correct.
He was going there with the intention to trap these girls in that spot, because once you're on that bridge, you can't turn back and get past him.
Yeah, there's no way to go.
Yeah. So
They were stuck.
he probably told them to meet him on the other side of the Moon and High Bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Then he shot
Okay.
them.
So we have the vehicle. They see, I would guess it's Abby and Libby's sisters or whoever dropped them off, vehicle leaving. Advised when she leave, this is the witness, that there was a vehicle parked in an odd manner at the old Child Protective Services building. We had heard about that already. She said it was not odd for vehicles to be parked there, but she noticed it was odd because of the manner it was parked back in near the building. Investigators
You
received
can see the license plate.
Okay, so it says investigators received a tip from blank, which is redacted, in which he stated he was on his way to Delphi on State Road 25 around 2:10. He observed a purple PT Cruiser or a small SUV type vehicle parked on the side of the old CPS building. He stated it appeared it was back to conceal the license plate, what Kate is saying. So they drew diagrams. We're just kind of taking a quick. So wait, he described it as being possibly a smart car. Vehicle is seen leaving at 2:28 on the Hoosier Harvest Store video. Investigators spoke with Blank, who stated that she was traveling east on 300 on February 13th and observed a male subject walking west on the north side of 300 North, away from the Monon Bridge. Advised the male subject was wearing a blue-colored jacket and blue jeans and was muddy and bloody. Are you kidding me right now?
Yeah, he just walked up that street that's along the trail where they dropped him off, muddy and bloody, back to his fucking car. Excuse my language, but that's just wild to me.
But then if you read further down in the affidavit, you'll see that he was interviewed very early on in the investigation.
I don't know how they didn't keep looking at him. Like, they just...
Yeah,
they must have got tunnel vision and just, like, totally went past him, because how do you not go back to that?
Well, I don't know, but I think that the text messages and stuff and the social media that, or the stuff they found with the Klein, and then also the fake account or whatever, I think that is what messed them up. But then I think they started putting things I think what they did was they went back and looked at the case all the way fresh from the beginning, because that happens all the time.
Yeah.
And like statistically, in many investigations, the actual perpetrator is interviewed within like the first week of the investigation. And you'll notice that he explains he knew that those two girls at least had seen him. So he had to cop to being there. That's what I find interesting.
Yeah, like Pamela said. By the way, Pamela, quick interjection. You need to know your limits too, because Pamela's friends with the families of the girls. So just sometimes it's too much. So just I know that you're supporting me. She gets worried. I'll feel like she's not supporting me. So okay, just know your limits. That's my speech. Hey, hippie sissy. Yeah, Ava, I'm still looking into that. Jen Lou would be good at that case too. The Evansdale.
Which one?
Kate and I were trying.
All right.
He was. I don't know if he was interviewed by park rangers. I don't know. I know he came forward to say I was there, basically. Mm-hmm. I can't believe that he just walked back to his car. I mean, my mind is blown. I should have read this.
Can I tell you why I think they were lured there, but I'll say it in the best way I think possible. If there is a ring and they were the holders of photos and videos that they passed around, which according to Kagan Klein's transcripts, it sounded like they were selling, they had like they all had like a thing where they were under females' names and they would share the photos back and forth and sell them or whatever. There was some kind of, thing going on. I think, and I hate that I even go there, but I think it's like they wanted to do like a film.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying?
Not out of it. Yeah.
And I think that's why, that's why they were like posed, and I don't know. I feel like that's what it was for. You know what I mean? Like, why else go through all that work just to kill them?
Yes. If you for your audience, Parker, and for you and for you and for Kate, if you really want to understand how these types of things, the rings have evolved over time, there is a really good documentary on Discovery Plus, I think it is, but it talks about John Wayne Gacy and the Candyman, because they were both operating at the same time in the same area, and they go into back in the day before the internet, how these types of people operated, where they advertised, how they advertised, and it's sad, obviously, because of the subject matter, but it is incredibly informative to understand how these people work. And I feel like it's empowering for parents, especially because if you can figure out how these people operate, you can better prepare your children, especially with being online.
It just worries me, like, if that is the case, like, what other horrors of the crime scene that
I'm reading this now, and I don't understand. I don't understand, and maybe Jen can better. Okay, so investigators discovered that his vehicle, he owns a 2016 black Ford Focus, which we know can look like the little, like, because there's not just, they can look like a smart car if you get the one that, shaped that way. And they said,
oh, the hatch Ford Focus kind of looks like a rounder PT Cruiser. So I can see how you could get it was
seen at the time that he said he was there, but that investigators believe those descriptions are similar of what the witnesses gave that were at the Child Protective Services building to the Ford Focus. So again, why 5 years? Just because they didn't have the evidence? Like, why? I don't understand.
What they needed to have, babe, is that the how do I put this? The best evidence they have in that entire affidavit is the unspent round, because every gun fires differently, but it also, before it fires, just putting it in the chamber will cause marks on it, tool marks, right? And it's all individual to each gun. It's almost like it's exactly like a fingerprint, honestly. They all do it a little bit different. And they needed they needed something from the crime scene like that to tie a specific person. There would be no reasonable explanation for that. There's no reason. There's no way you can argue anything reasonable, or I was out there days before, okay, whatever, and it just happens to be in the exact spot. Like, come on. Do you know what I mean? There's just no reasonable explanation for that, and that is what they were waiting for. They needed something very specific to tie him to that crime scene.
Yeah. So Mike Lee was in my live, the guy Mike who's in law enforcement. He said,
here too,
said that's as good as DNA. Like, that evidence is as good as DNA.
Wow.
Like, it's as, like, I asked, like, how well will that hold up even if it's an unspent casing? And he said that evidence is as good as DNA.
It is as unique to each gun as each gun, not each gun type. Like, not all 22s, right? Not all of them will leave the same marks. It is unique. It is a unique thing that each specific gun does. It is exactly like DNA.
Yeah.
Your DNA is unique to you, unless you're an identical twin, obviously. But
Right.
but
Wow.
this actually might, in this situation, would be better than that.
So he was then interviewed again on October 13th by Ellie. This year, 2022. He advised he was
Mhm.
on the trails from February 3rd. He was on the trails. He stated he saw juvenile girls on the trails east of Freedom Bridge. He further stated he went out on the bridge to watch fish. Later in his statement, he said he walked out to the first platform on the bridge. He stated he then walked back, sat on the bench on the trail, and then left. He stated he parked his car on the side of the building. He told investigators he was wearing a blue jeans and a blue or black Carhartt jacket with a hood. He advised he may have been wearing some type of covering as well. He further claimed he saw
The exact outfit.
Yep, idiot. He further claimed he saw no one else except for the girls he saw on the Freedom Bridge. He told investigators that he did own firearms and they are at his home. Richard Allen's wife, Kathy Allen, also spoke to investigators. She confirmed Richard did have guns and knives at the residence. She also stated Richard still owns a blue Carhartt jacket. That's ridiculous. Ugh. On October 13th, investigators executed a search warrant at his house. We knew that. They located jackets, knives, boots, knives, and firearms, including a Sig Sauer Model P226 40 caliber pistol with serial number U625627. Holy cow. The laboratory performed analysis on Alan Sig Sauer. The laboratory performed a physical examination and classification of the firearm, function test, barrel, and overall length measurement, yada, 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 like every possible test they could do. They determined the unspent round located within 2 feet of victim's body had been cycled through Richard Allen Sig Sauer. Holy crap. I'm sorry, my mind is blown.
Yeah. And I just, there's a question in the chat that I wanted to answer just
sorry,
really quick.
yeah.
No, but then I got to go because obviously, but
Okay.
where is it? Where did I see it? Oh my gosh. I just don't understand why it took so long to get this search warrant for Alan's place. Okay, I obviously I'm not in the cops' minds. I'm not psychic and I don't work in law enforcement. But if I had to take an educated guess, I think that what happened is when the whole Keegan Klein situation came about, I think that was a good. They were doing what they were supposed to do, but I think it was a distraction. And so I think when that didn't produce anything, an actual arrest, I think what they did was, I think they went back to the very beginning of the investigation. And I think they looked over their notes. And that's when they said, oh, here's this interview with Richard Allen. Let's talk he said he was out there. Let's talk to him again. And then when he admitted it, and then when he said he did own a firearm, and then, and he was out there, yada, 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 right? Then that's when that's when the wheels started turning and the search warrant was applied. That's when they applied for it.
Are
It takes
you kidding
time.
me? On October 26th, he said he never allowed anyone to use or borrow his firearm. He
basically screwed himself over.
I'm telling you guys, I don't think he knew it was there. I think he thought he picked it up, which
You're
is
right.
why he said what he said. Otherwise, it would make no sense. He had to have known when that's a calculated risk, right? Saying that your firearm was never out of your possession, right? And I think he really did think that he picked up all of them. I think he thought he got them all. I think maybe he might have ejected maybe 2 or 3 of them. And I think he maybe thought he only got ejected 2 when he actually ejected 3. And he thought that he got, both of them, but there was the third one that he missed.
So
That's
why
what I
would
think.
why would he eject 3 of them and then pick them up? Like, why would he do that?
Well, I also, because I don't think, well, how I've never actually looked. I haven't looked into this case as deep as you guys have. But what did I don't think the firearm was used in the homicide, correct?
No.
They haven't said. They said there's no cause of death, so I would assume.
Well, if you read Ron Logan's arrest warrant, they block out what it says, but serrated knife fits perfectly, and you can kind of see some of the letters.
Okay.
It begins with
Okay.
an S. It begins with an S, and then
Well,
you can
one of the
see,
girls
like,
was nearly like, I mean,
so
nearly.
it looks like they said, like, it was bleeped out, but you can kind of see what it says, and it looks like serrated knife.
Okay.
Hi,
I don't.
Paul. We had a great Thanksgiving too. Okay, go. Keep
Oh,
going.
this would be an excellent question for Mike, but this is what I'm curious about because I don't really know all of that much about guns. But so if you cock a gun, right, and a bullet enters the chamber, but then you decide you don't have to use the gun. There's, you want to make the gun safe again. You have to get that bullet out of the chamber.
Yeah. I mean, from from the guns I've used to hunt or something, we've always
So I
had to.
think he would only do it with one bullet, though.
Right, but what if he accidentally, when he was reloading the gun, right, putting the magazine, I don't know how that revolver works, but what if he dropped one, right, but actually dropped 2 on accident? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, there's all kinds of, because why would you take a gun out there if you're not even going to use it? This was like a backup. If
control,
you know what I mean, it was
right to go to the place.
Right. So he used it to intimidate, but he didn't want to use it actually on them, which is interesting because he knows that bullets are easy to trace back. They're specific to the gun, right? So something occurred. Something got jumbled, because I mean, he had 2 victims out there. It's hard to control 2 victims, blah, 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 right? Something happened. And what I think is, I think that he thought he picked it up and he didn't. Or he thought, that or he went to look for it and there you go, or he went to look for it and couldn't find it.
How hard it is to find shit in leaves and stuff like that. In February, there'd be a bunch of dead leaves and stuff there. It'd be really hard to find a shell casing. So we probably just took it out of the chamber and dropped it, and then when he went back to find it, he couldn't find it.
And so maybe he thought that that if he couldn't find it, they wouldn't find it either.
Yeah.
Or if they did find it,
to get out of there soon because they were going to start looking for the kids, and he couldn't stay there looking for them.
Or if they did find it, because it wasn't actually used to unalive the girls, that they may disregard it as actually being part of the crime.
Yeah.
Or you see what I'm saying?
You might not realize they're able to trace it just from being unspent.
Right. There's that too. There's all kinds of little, but what sunk his battleship is the fact that he admitted to being out there, and he had no choice about that because he saw those girls, and I know, and then one of them spoke to him. So he had to have known there is at least a 90% chance that somebody was going to talk about it, right? One of the girls was going to say something, right? So he had to admit to being out there. But then that admitting that he owns a specific type of gun, and not only that he owns a specific type of gun, but that gun has never, ever been used or lent out, or nobody else has ever put their paws on it, right? That was critical, and that's what they needed. And once they had that, then they went and were able to get the search warrant. And then it just took off from there.
They probably have those big magnets too. Like we use these giant magnets and
to get the nails and stuff.
Yeah, to get the nails. So either they used a metal detector or they have big magnets and they could have found it easy. But I think it probably flew out of the gun. Like he went to go make it safe. It flew out of the gun. And then he couldn't find it. Because that would, first off, the color of that would match all those leaves and the dirt. He was probably in a rush. He was probably worried they were going to start looking for the
Yep.
girls because, you only have so much time to get the hell out of there before somebody sees
Mhm.
you. So he probably was just like,
Very true, Ava.
you know.
So, Jen, I know you got to go. Jen's got
do,
to go
babe.
for live. So when we get done here, we'll raid over there.
Oh, yay. Okay. Well, I'm just talking about George Wagner, but man, I do have some. If you want to come and watch, I'd appreciate it, but you don't
We
have
will.
to. I get it.
will.
All right, you guys. I'm going to
Thanks,
bounce,
Jen.
but oh, you're welcome. Thanks for having me up. Bye, Kate. Bye,
Bye.
Parker. Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, I am. This is my mind blown face. When I did it, my mouth just hangs open. So he basically then what we go on is we learn they restate, in fact, that his vehicle was seen at the CPS building 210, 214, and 228, and that he was hiding in the woods. So he was seen on the bridge or on the trail at 213. But he was not seen after that because he was in the woods with victim. Oh, he was in the
he
woods.
was in the
Oh
woods
my
killing
God.
him. So put it this way. All right. They have him
my
on camera. This is how they lay it out. They have him on camera driving to where the CPS building is. They have him driving past that store. Then they have him shortly after that running into the girls by Freedom Bridge. He's headed toward Monon High, and the girls are headed out. So they're leaving Freedom Bridge. Do you want me to pull the map up? Do you know what it looks like? I could pull the map up and show you.
Yeah.
Hold on. I'll pull the map up.
Didn't they? So I keep thinking maybe they knew, right? Maybe law enforcement knew this whole time. But then I think they arrested other people for this, though. Like, right? Or they had other suspects.
They've searched. Like,
Because
they looked into Ron Logan's. They searched Ron Logan's house. I don't think they've arrested people.
Was it? Well, what wasn't somebody in jail? Didn't someone in jail say they did it, like a Garrett or somebody?
Oh, I don't remember. Share my screen real quick.
Oh yeah, my mind is blown.
All right, so they have him on camera. Watch my cursor. They have him on camera right about here, driving here. He parks his car here. They have his car being here between like 1 something and late 2 o'clock. Like people saw it there then, so it was probably there later, but they have it there at the time the girls were being killed. So the car is there at the time the girls were being killed. So he parks there, then he walks Freedom, right about here. He's walking towards Monon High Bridge, which is this one. This is Monon High Bridge. This is Freedom.
Yes, pocket. Okay.
So he walks past Freedom, and then right about, like let's say here, he runs into the girls that see him. They say he looks like he's on a mission, blah, blah, blah. He's cruising, whatever. He walks past them. Then he gets over here. Then another lady who is corroborated by the cameras comes for her walk. This is still before 2 o'clock. This is like almost at 2 o'clock. She walks to the bridge, and he's standing on the bridge on the first pylon. So he's waiting on Monon High Bridge at this point. She sees him, but the girls aren't there yet. The girls are just probably getting there. She walks back and gets in her car and leaves. Then the girls come, and all of that happens because they have him on camera around 2:45. So they walk across the bridge. He follows them. They see him. They say gun. They videotape him. Then right about here, he says down the hill. They walk down the hill, cross the stream, and come up on Ron Logan's property where he kills them. Then he leaves, and he is seen walking on this street, but not past the camera. So I don't know where.
Muddy and bloody, right?
Muddy and bloody. I don't know if he walked maybe up and then out, and then she sees him up here, muddy and bloody, but she sees him muddy and bloody. And at the time, what did they say? There was another one where they said nobody's seen him there was other people who were on the trail between 2:30 and 4:11 p.m. and nobody's seen him on the trail at that point. Nobody's seen him
Right.
walking back on the trail or anything, because at that time he was killing them, and that's why
Yes.
he wasn't there.
Oh my gosh. So after he did this, did he know that somebody saw him walking? Like, did he knew that he walked by somebody muddy and bloody?
I'm not sure. But I have to hop down. But
Okay.
I will be in chat. Sorry.
All right. So, thanks for coming up.
Yep, I'll be in chat.
All right, cool. Thanks.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad I read through this with y'all. And Mike is so right. This is every time he put that jacket on, it was a trophy for him. The gun, I don't believe he ever intended to use. Muddy from the creek, yeah. And obviously we know, but I don't think he ever intended to know or to use the gun. I think that, like we all have said in here, that it was purely for a scare tactic to get them down the hill. I'm just blown away that, I mean, it's like Sleuth said, he literally walked in and handed himself to them on a silver platter. What is really alarming to me, and maybe Mike, maybe you've seen this before, being in the line of work you were in, probably, but they wouldn't have seen the face. They wouldn't have seen him from the back, from what I understand. Yeah. Do you see this type of thing where and maybe anybody else in here knows too, somebody that does this horrific of a crime will risk just walking back bloody like that, and not only doing that, but then walking in and saying, yep, I was on the bridge, and taking that type of risk? Like, was he just arrogant, or was he just downright stupid? Did he get home and say, oh, I don't have that third bullet, or whatever? He brought the gun to control the girls. So yeah, Mike. But I mean, he didn't care about any of the other girls he saw. And the fact that he kept his hands in the pocket the whole time, we can assume that it is for the reason that people were saying, that they thought he might have had a gun in his pocket and he was keeping his hands in his pocket. I think it is interesting how, must be, Ava, how for so long, we've had a really hard time figuring out what was with his face, and what, like his face looked different or something, and we couldn't figure out what was his hat. And so he did, in fact, have a face covering on. This one, why they didn't want this released, I don't see any details. They needed to protect other suspects. They wanted to protect the fact they failed for 5.5. Egg, yeah, Sleuth, you know what? I think you're right. Oh, yeah, for sure, S-Hocket. Did he think it was too dark out that exactly, Nace. I mean, it's not like he was walking back at 5 o'clock. I understand, it was 3:30 or something like that. But, okay, he knew he had been seen, but for him to put himself at that crime scene. Well, and for me, it's like, if he knew he was seen in that condition, okay, it just, for me, it's maddening. It's mind-blowing to me that he then didn't do something to witnesses or whatever. I gotta tell you, this is like nothing I've ever seen. Like, to me, this is stuff you see on like movies, because this is, I think so, Sarah. So I think was it you, Mike, or somebody? Hey, Truth and Transparency, love the flag. Oh yeah, it's my daughter's fishing flag. So my mind is blown. So they don't give a cause of death, right? We've all pretty much, we have our ideas of how they died. So I do think that they kept, those details out, and some of the more grotesque details. Can you imagine being these girls that saw him there so much, like beforehand, and just the survivor's guilt that can you imagine being their parent? like knowing your kid was just walking there, and my mind is racing. Yes, happy Thanksgiving to you too. 5.5 years. 5.5 years. Yeah, Ava, it's almost like that. Like he wanted to get caught or something. I still do believe though that he was there for them. I mean, that I think is pretty clear based on the people he walked by. And that he was there before them. So obviously I would think somebody had to have lured. He knew they were coming somehow if he was after them, which we can, at least I have a feeling, obviously based on what we've read. Gosh, really? That, oh, I forgot. I've got mods in here. I don't see what in their piece. Exactly, Nace, nothing. And that's exactly what Sleuth is saying, is that why were you so adamant to protect that, especially when you can redact all that you can redact. But Sarah, you're right, 5.5 years of pure heartache. And I imagine that the parents of Abby and Libby and their family, they probably feel a little bit bittersweet reading this, a little bit of, well, I'm so glad that he's caught, but then another of like, are you kidding me? He was right, like just right under our nose the whole time. I bet he shit his pants when he found out that Ellie has a video. Yeah, you're right, Mike. And for Mike to say that is, yeah. What did I just do? Did I just kick myself off? No, is huge, being former law enforcement. But yeah. I don't know. I know, Sarah. I almost 6, right, Ava? Like, I want to believe the best, and I believe they tried and stuff, but you bring in a new set of eyes, right? You bring in a new set of eyes. We're on year almost 6, right? 5.5, and they're like, there's this dude right here, right? They bring in this new set of eyes because nothing's been. I was going to look that up about the other people. Nothing has, come of any of their investigation, and somebody's like, he's right here, and so based on the probable cause affidavit, do you think we can assume then that Keegan did not say anything? Because it doesn't sound like he did. That's what I'm saying. Well, Danielle, I don't know, and maybe somebody in chat knows, but I have heard allegedly that the FBI had a really big falling out with, what would it be? Indiana State Police. Yeah, so would I, Ava. So would I. Kelly, he was hiding. He sold pictures to the family for their funeral. I don't. True, Mike. True. Yeah, Jen, I'll be interested to see how he pleads as well. I feel like the family is so torn. You know what? You're absolutely right. Hey, Caddy, Texas, you're absolutely right. They're just like, I do think that they are just very, very torn of like, oh, that's what I was going to look up really quick. Suspects, because I want to remember that guy's name. I believe it was Garrett that they've had. So well, I know Richard Allen. One second. So I'm curious if they asked his wife any questions about that day. That name, it's driving me nuts. I'll find it later and then I'll find it later. Okay. Yeah, no, nice. So, yeah, Sarah, probably not. I think prosecution could be limiting info. Yeah, probably Ava. So I wonder if so we have to remember too that how close he lived to Abby. It's very possible, Mike. But if you remember that Richard used to hang out at the bar. Wow, Kelly. Richard used to hang out at the bar where Abby's mom worked. He played pool there. He also, so there is images of Kathy, Libby's mom, or Kathy, Richard's wife, with her arms around Libby's would be her great aunt, her grandma's sister, at a bar. They play pool together. So, but for whatever reason, with whatever profile, he somehow got them there. And so this right here, so people that are experienced with these trials, that gun evidence alone, that will be enough to convict him, because he said he doesn't let anybody borrow his weapons or anything like that. Like, you think that's going to be enough? Because I know, Nace. Just, do you want to know when the picture was taken with Libby's great aunt? I believe it was last December 2021 with Kathy Allen. He hung out with her family. Oh my gosh, there is a special place in hell for people like that, where the two bodies positioned and photographed in a snuff film set up where he photographed. So Tony, that has been, some people are saying that is highly possible that was part of his plan. But to me, it was like, he came for one thing, he did it, and he just left. Yeah, I'm not even kidding you. I believe the DeLorean showed me, and then Kate had found it. And then it got out there. But yeah, it was probably a year ago that they were photographed in the bar together playing pool, because they played pool together. And I'm just like, oh, Kelly, I know. And they said that, oh, good, Mike, it's a 99% success rate. That's awesome. They said that that every time what was it? It was Libby's, no, what was it? Abby's aunt, I think. One of them said that every time they went in CVS, which was like 3 to 4 times a week, and he was working, he would stop whatever he was doing, and he would come up and he would dote over them and give them, this red carpet treatment, like, every time. And they just thought, what a sweet man he is. And the whole time they were staring at the man that murdered their girls. I know I keep saying that, but to me, for me, it's very hard to understand that type of evil. Like, 3 signature, good catch, Nace. I forgot about that. The signatures. Do we know of the religious signature significance? Explain the religious signature significance, because I haven't heard that. Also, I want to know about the unusual DNA. That's right, the hair. Remember the hair, the fiber. Yeah. So there were some people that were making comments saying, I was actually shocked YouTube wasn't blowing up with this, that were saying, well, they're not going to keep this case because they don't have the hair. They haven't matched the fiber. I don't necessarily know. I mean, they've got the bullet. I wonder if he was, like brought himself to law enforcement and stuff because he was trying to feel them out of whether or not they found that bullet. Right, Mike, that's true. Yeah, absolutely. This is what they used to arrest him. This is not all the evidence. Okay. So now, is this all that, so this probable cause affidavit, now, is this all his defense team would have seen as well and that he would have seen? Because, you know, they're saying like they don't stand a chance. You know, his lawyers obviously are doing lawyer things. He's not going to he's going to get away because they don't have enough evidence, all this kind of stuff. How much does the defense get in a trial like this beforehand? So is this it? Is this all they've seen? So they don't, like, I guess I just want to know, does the defense get to know everything that the prosecution has? I haven't looked into I need to look at trials more, I guess. See, the Shaq thing, I've heard of the Shaq thing, but I didn't know what people were talking about. Wow, Paul. Okay, so until they asked for discovery. Wow. So, but his lawyer can't be that dumb. Well, maybe, but he can't think that. James Chadwell, I gotta tell you, for the longest time, I thought it was him. But no, it was somebody at the very beginning that made like some false confession. I thought it was with a G, but I can't remember. But kept alluding to having something to do with it. Oh, was there, Ava? Yeah, I just had no idea what it was. So far now they will get everything the prosecutor has. It's called discovery. Okay. No, Kelly, I hadn't even heard of that. I'll have to look it up. I mean, the Idaho thing is big, and that definitely has my attention for sure, but I think we are at a little bit of a standstill with that right now as well. True, Ava, true. Thanks, Boyd Mama. I'm still like, this was, like I said, I thought, well, I'm not even going to read it right now. I got home and I was like, I said to Punkette, I said, is YouTube, I'm not going to go live tonight because I bet YouTube is blowing up with the Delphi stuff, and I'll just go tomorrow and talk about it. And then they were like, we haven't seen it. What are you talking about? And I said, what? And then they said YouTube was blowing up everywhere else over something. And I was like, well, I'm going to go live then because I want to read this with everybody. And so my mouth has just been like, can you imagine the defense attorney stating publicly that they aren't sure if their client did it? I know, right? Well, and he screwed himself over by saying he has never loaned out his gun. He told them what he was wearing, and it matched what the witnesses had. His vehicle has now been placed at the CPS building. Oh my gosh, Paul, really? See, I go off YouTube for one day, like, because I'm doing something else. I had no idea. So they have DNA imprints in Idaho, but the person is not in the system. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, Kelly, I will be looking that up. What is happening with our world? They have DNA imprints, but the person is not in the system. Which, I mean, we kind of expected, right? He's definitely the dumb criminal of the year. What do you guys think? I'm just curious. I'll have to look that up, Ava. You might be right. What do you think about his wife? Do you think she had an idea? So I don't necessarily think she did. I think if he was abusive or she wasn't, I think he might have really wore the pants almost to a point where, she might have feared him. I would like to think, good Lord, the same year that he took those girls' lives in February, his daughter got married in November. the same year. There's pictures there, this happy occasion. Like, I just can't imagine that his wife knew about it. And so, people are saying, well, how could she not? I don't know why she didn't recognize the clothes unless he bought them specifically for that. Yeah, now the signatures. See, I know it. That's the thing. Now we're talking about the gun, which she knows he has. Yeah, Ashaka, I think there's probably times she might have gone, could it be? But it's almost like she then convinced herself that I want to say this. How do I say this? The after effects weren't worth it for her to dive into it, of not only this, but what would come for her and her daughter after it. So she might have actually come to, right, Ava, to a point where she was just like, it's possible, but it's over or something. I hate to say that, but look at BTK. He stopped when his daughter was born for several years. Wow, Paul. Then he checks himself into a psych ward for 30 days or whatever. Well, no, exactly, Pamela. I mean, all of a sudden, a guy matching his description, she knows he's not working because, okay, anybody knows if you work at CVS, typically you work different hours. So she would have probably known he had off that day. We know that he had a shed that, I think so too. We know that, Mike, look into Evansdale. I would love your opinions on if you think they're tied together. We know that there's a shed that he has that she's not allowed in. I mean, you got. Oh, wow, Ava. I got to tell you, look, I trust my husband. But if I say to him, hey, I got to run out to your shed and grab something, and he says, no, you can't go in that shed, no one's allowed in that shed, and he gets mad, I'm going to start to think, what is in the shed? Oh, hi, Chloe. Hope you're doing okay. He had two, apparently, Nace. So the one in 2015 was after he threatened his wife because, remember, domestic violence thingy. And then allegedly after this, if I understand correctly, he went away as well. Well, that's the thing, Jen, is well, Ava, go out and check it right now for a Carhartt jacket and a hoodie. Well, Ava, there's a difference though. If there was a panic, I'm sure your husband would be like, hey, go grab something out of my shed. Oh, you're on it, Pamela? Okay, good. Thank you. Oh, awesome, Mike. We do know that remember when they were in the pool bar and he said he was going to beat her to a pulp in the parking lot? I have a feeling, I just picture that might have been not a very happy home as far as what she might have experienced, even if he didn't necessarily hurt her physically often. From the interactions we see on a lot of the things, it's almost like they don't, Jen, could you I didn't know Mike had a channel. He still goes in. Okay, Ava's house. We're gonna call Ellie and have them check out the husband's shed. Just kidding, Ava. Yeah, Nace, there's two. Because it's alleged he was a big drinker as well. Oh, you haven't started it, Mike? Well, let us know when you do. As Hackett, yeah, I think he might have been more abusive than we know or realize. I think she treaded lightly. It's alleged that both her and her daughter, and I don't know for sure. This is what I've heard, is that they were both in court and they still very much support him. And did you see what his lawyer said? He just says he didn't do it. Well, I mean, he kind of already admitted it, dude, when he said he. But again, whether or not that's true that they support him, I'm surprised that they were in court. If they were in court, I'm surprised. I would have thought that she would have. Exactly, Kaylee. I would have thought she would be as far away from him as possible right now. Because we do know that, she, at least last we've heard, she wasn't living at the house. I will say, though, I believe it was Libby's family that was just like, just please, y'all, like, don't come at his family. It's not their fault. They're victims too. Basically, like, take it easy on them. However, if, they see them in court supporting him, that, might be a little bit different. I want to think I'd be a good wife, but I got to tell you, if my husband died, I would be like, hey, you're on your own. Let me know if it's over and you're cleared. I don't know. They have to know. I mean, they have, unless they've only been told what he's told them. Heck, for all we know, this probable cause, they saw it for the first time today. And who knows, they could look at it and go, whoa, what do you mean? But you can't tell me that she doesn't, like, when the law enforcement was there, weren't they in a car together for like 10 hours or something, or together for an insane amount of time in a car? Not one time did she say, hey, Ricky, or whatever she calls him, why are they here? Or like, what do you have to tell me? I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of unanswered. I just finished the last of the court cases I was involved in when I was in the department. So now I can start my retirement. Oh my gosh, Mike, that's awesome. Oh, I cannot wait till Mike starts sleuthing. Congratulations. Thank you for all you did for so many years. And I'm so glad you can start your retirement. And Mike, we are all rooting for you. You're going to have a lot of success. I think that, just for as helpful as you are in these chats of being able to like share, some of your knowledge. I really like that. So you'll do amazing and we'll all be there. I've always felt that maybe the daughter knew and accepted it when he was arrested. Yeah, that's possible, Nace. Oh my gosh, Paul G. I haven't talked to one person today that's made it through that successfully without wanting to vomit. The Casey Anthony topic. Kate and I are going to do a live about it, and I'm going to see if like Melissa Jade and a few other creators will do it with me to discuss the documentary when we've all gone through it, and just kind of do like an open panel to even like subs and stuff to say, okay, what were your thoughts? Right, Kelly? Get out of here, Ava. Really? See, that I don't get. Now that, yeah. That to me is, well, I think today's their anniversary. I think they got married on the 30th. For me, I'm just trying to figure out, I just want to know the motive. I wonder if we'll ever fully know why. I mean, I get there's never a good reason, or you never get an actual solid reason of why these evil people do this kind of stuff. But so Mike, while you're here, or anybody else in chat, they have DNA now of the Idaho. I just have to ask this before they have DNA and prints of the Idaho murderer, but it is not, he is not, or she, whatever, is not in the system. So what now? So now we just wait and see if they can get a suspect and take his DNA. And how do you think they know that it's the right person? You know, like the right DNA, because there's so much DNA that was in that house because of it. So I guess I'm like, well, how did they decide? Yes, this is GED match marker. Oh, genealogical. Oh. S. Hockett, I wonder too if we'll know how they were killed. Oh, wow. Genealogy. I didn't even know you could do that. Volunteer. Holy cow. So how do you think prints in victim's blood? S. Hockett, you're brilliant. Ava, she only said happy Tuesday. I'm almost positive, Ava, that this is their anniversary. No, excuse me. Tomorrow. Y'all. Paul, you were in law enforcement for 20 years? That's awesome. Okay, the fact that I forget my own anniversary, but I know when Richard Allen's daughter's anniversary is, tells me that I spent too much time in true crime, because I'm constantly like, wait, when did we get married? Like, oh, 17 years? Like, this is bad. Yeah, it must be something like that, S. Hockett. Oh my gosh. So they're getting closer then in Idaho. They're getting closer. I know, Nace. I love it because I'm like, hey, I got a question. What about this? Wow. Yeah, my husband said tonight, he's like 17 years and 17 years, December 30th. And I was like, 17? Really? I said I was like 16. He's like, yeah, that's no. Wow. So I don't know. I guess that's exciting. We're getting closer to seems, I guess, in Idaho. I still think we're all going to be okay. Really quick, and then I want to raid Jen Luz. I need theories in here about Idaho. Just all theories are welcome. I don't care. There's nothing too crazy. We're just throwing it out there of what you possibly think. Like, who do you think it's going to be? So a friend, a stranger, or like a stalk, somebody like that has been stalking them. Do you, Mike? Yeah. I still don't think Idaho is random. BAU, you're not my best. Kaylee's ex. The small one? They towed all the cars today. Yeah, I heard they were going to start releasing some of the stuff. Hey, I get it. I'm still trying to come to terms that Bullhorn Betty is in Idaho. It's snowing, freezing there. Can you see Bullhorn out? Makes sense. Jen, she commented on a community post a couple days, but I haven't seen her around. That's a really good point, actually. Let me ask Alex. That's a good point. If they find the knife, they can tell who was stabbed first. Really? Wow, Paul. Tony, I'm kind of with you. I can't. Oh, did you, Nace? Okay. I think Asake, yeah. So I think if it's not, like really, really close, I will, Jen. I haven't seen her, but when I see her, I'll tell her. I don't think that it's if it's not somebody that's like really close to them, then I think it was probably somebody that they met like while she was working, or a neighbor that, you know, something along those lines. Rick S still thinks Ron Logan is British. I know. We just I know I got to go back and watch Melissa's live about, I can't say her name. Is it Sean Quila? Somebody's going to have to help me. I haven't said it right yet. But that case is so sad, and Melissa Jade covers it very well. It's ugh. Betty Bullhorn did it. I mean, what are they going to protest? What are they going to protest? Are they going to protest the arrest of who? Nobody? Oh, yes, you do, Mike. Like, what are they protesting? I'm just picturing her out there with a horn when it's snowing, standing by a house that really they're wrapping up. And I Googled today, I was surprised to see that a few times a year in America, a twin, a triplet. Really, Tony? That's crazy. Huh. You know what's really bizarre is I always thought people were making a big deal, because I noticed when Tony said unaliving and stuff, I did not realize how sensitive YouTube is with words. And it's not typically YouTube, but like it'll say like and I don't really care. Your Google AdSense or something, it'll say like it's limited because of like words you use or something, and it happens every time in the Idaho case that I've done a live that I've mentioned like the M word and not said unalived. I had no idea that it was really that. They would like certain words, they must just like, yeah, apparently, Nace. That's why I was like, why has YouTube not blown up about Delphi? Still think that someone known, and if we find out who was stabbed first, they may have. Right, Paul G. I'm still not convinced that Kaylee was the target. I don't think that it was cartel. Because I know some people have speculated that, but I've listened to some other profilers and stuff, and it would seem like if it was cartel or drug related, typically they just shoot, right? They're not going to go through such a personal thing like that, I guess, for that type of thing. And Xana's mom and her arrest, I don't think that was the other things I've seen. I don't think that had anything to do with their murders. I think she's a grieving mom that might have a substance problem and relapsed because she's grieving, or, you know, just had a substance, like, I don't think you can, I'm going to have a little more grace for her right now than to think that she's the reason her daughter was killed. Yeah, Mike. That's crazy. I didn't like that we could find out who's. And somebody else said Kaylee might have been the target because, and I can't remember the reasoning why they said she would be the target. Oh, they said she had to be the target because she was the one that was leaving soon. Somebody else had a really good thought, though, and I hadn't really thought about this. And I think Paul, it might have been you or somebody in here said, have they been interviewing professors? And at first I was like, what? But then, it made sense. Like, it wouldn't be the first time, like a professor's become obsessed or something like that. Really, Mike? This would be Jack S or Jack D? I'm getting. Yeah, Paul. Okay, it was you. Yeah, exactly, Nace. That's what I mean. Like, I'm going to have a little bit. Billy Joe, he ain't getting no grace from me. Like, don't tell me she's not getting a fair trial. You're going to get. But this mom, she gets grace from me because we can't even imagine. I also don't think she wasn't much. Right. Oh, really, Ava? Yeah. And we don't even know what type of a, yeah, if she had Jack D. Okay. Thanks, Mike. If she had that much of a, connection with her daughter at all. So, but yeah, I didn't think it had anything to do with that because of, yeah, a professor killed a grad student at the same college. Get out of here, Ava. Wow. True, Nace. Wow. Yeah, I mean, so a professor would not be totally out of the realm. I mean, it's somebody that sees them every day, or, you know, somebody that might have, so we do know Kaylee, and this is Kaylee's sister's words, that she was a mean girl. Okay, so look, all it takes is for some psychopath to get triggered about, like, like, the next murder in 2015, right? Oh, thank you, Paul. I'm really glad actually I went live and was able to read through that affidavit with you, because it helped me process it a little bit to think, what is going on? Like, what is happening right now that he was right there the whole time? And I will say that I agree with Mike, that they dropped the ball big time that he wasn't arrested a week later. I mean, it is unlikely professor because of the multiple. That makes, yeah, that's true, Mike. Now, okay, so with Jack D, here's the hardest part I have with him, and I'll tell you why. Is because of how small he is. Do you think he would have had the capability to overpower all four of them? I know, like, they were in separate rooms, but do you think with as small as he is, that he could have done that type of damage to all of them? Hey, Rebellious. And in fairness, I don't know, I don't know what it's like to be in that type of pure rage that I could do that to anybody. So I would, who knows how high his adrenaline was and stuff. I will say that it is likely that it's going to be somebody younger, or somebody, I mean, it's somebody that's not even in the system. So doesn't necessarily mean it's somebody younger, but it's somebody without a record. What I'm finding most suspicious now is that Ethan is anywhere at a nearby party at 9 p.m. But, well, so Tony, that is very, I bet, Mike. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I didn't like when you're right, Nate. So when you're enraged, you have true. That's true. When you mama bear thing. Tony, that too is very, very, I do find that weird. I find the fact that we don't know yet why they left at 9 p.m. And that, we even heard Aaron Snell say, please, anybody from that party, please come forward. We want to talk to you. We want to, what was their behavior like that night? It is very wild to me that no one has come forward to just say, all right, I was there this night. I did see them, like, here's what it was, here. That is bizarre. But I would assume law enforcement has, like, talked to the fraternity president and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I would like to think that. So my guess is they're trying to look for people that they haven't spoke to, that they know of. So probably people, but I still think something went down at that party that made them leave. And I don't know what it is. And I don't think yet. Do we know where they were from 9 till 1:45? Oh, I'm glad you're back too, Rebellious. I just don't think it was just Kaylee that's the target. I really don't. It just doesn't make sense to me because of the location of where Ethan and Xana's bedroom that they were sleeping in as with the girls. It's just they had to go out of their way. I still think, Paul, so that's what I've heard too. I've heard Yes, Nace, that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, we're hearing from what I'm hearing. Mike, I lean towards her too, and I don't know why, but I'm starting to, I think we overlooked her, and everybody jumped to Kaylee because there's speculation she had an OnlyFans and stuff. And even me, my first instinct was Kaylee. But then I started thinking, wait, I think we're underestimating. We just need to know more about Ethan and Xana. And yeah, Nace, no one knows as of now, or even as of when Aaron Snell on Sunday said, where they were from 9 to 1:45. I would assume they're waiting to get their phone evidence back and everything. Paul, so I've also heard speculation that the roommates heard noises in the middle of the night. And I also heard that the rumor that the dog did not bark is not true. That several people or neighbors have said the dog was barking, and that they thought about going over and saying something, but they didn't. Nice. Ava, yeah, that's true. So, I mean, so if the dog was going nuts and barking, it doesn't mean it wasn't Jack. Now, we can also, I would assume that, I don't know. I don't think the killer's face was showing. I think he had something over his face. Oh, the 911 call is, yep, so do I, Nace. It's got to be something like that. There is something on that 911 call that, because the way I saw it written that somebody had posted on Twitter that you could tell was a reliable source, was that they were called out for it was labeled homicide, but then below it said report of an unconscious person or something. So they knew they were coming to say, yeah. I think, yeah, there's a lot on that 911 call. And a possible POI. I think you're right. I do think, like, so law enforcement too has been very good to say that they don't have any suspects. But I don't think I've heard them in this last few days say they don't have a person of interest. Now, I could be wrong, so tell me if I am. God, for all we know, Jack D could have thought Kaylee and, oh my gosh, Ethan were together or something. Who knows? See, I think I need to not completely rule out Jack D just because of his size. I don't think it was somebody just waltzing by the, I was watching the monkey case closely when the reporter had to go to the scene, so I started looking into the dispatch log. Suddenly it became unavailable. Wow, Ava. That's right, Paul. You are allowed, right. Yep. Now, have they come forward and clearly said yet? Because it's still a huge discrepancy over what did the coroner say? And now, went back and listened again. She does say they were in their beds. However, like, I haven't heard an interview where she says some of them were in the beds, but I think she's referring to when it initially happened. I don't necessarily know that we can be 100% certain that they stayed there, you know? Yeah, someone knew the layout and the bedrooms, and I still think there's a reason that the roommates were left. I don't think it was somebody just didn't know the layout. You can tell, I mean, people knew there was rooms down there. Right, Nace. Well, and the problem with, and in law enforcement's defense for this, and for this reason, like, people are, like Kaylee's family, Ethan's dad and stuff, they're getting upset because law enforcement is lacking transparency with them and stuff, and they're not following up. They're not calling them as much as they'd like and stuff. But on the other side, we also have to remember that they are being very public in the media right now. They are talking a lot. So to be quite honest, law enforcement has to be careful probably of what they tell them, that they're not going to open up and tell them certain things that could potentially be leaked. And unfortunately, the more they say, the more it's going to limit probably what law enforcement, it probably would be limited to begin with, but especially, when, you're talking, unfortunately, that's just it's just how it's going to be. The 2 that survived didn't wake up, which is the reason why they weren't killed. Yeah, Callie. Yeah, exactly, Nace. Yep. Right. Yeah, they have to be cautious, especially, oh my gosh, can you see, look, when one of these YouTubers gets, like right now we've got the media after, talking to Kaylee's family and stuff. Just wait until one of these YouTubers gets a hold of them. Like, oh my gosh. Law enforcement isn't stupid. Like they've seen the 911 dispatcher asked the caller if they were dead and called, said they weren't sure. I saw someone in a chat who was tied to one of the surviving roommates, so they said, wow, Callie. Yeah, they're talking too much, and I understand they want answers, and I understand their grief, and I don't understand their grief. I can't even fathom what they're going through. But trying to hack things and stuff, to help with the investigation, I get all that, and I get wanting to do that, but you just have to be so careful. Yeah, Jen, so that's the thing too. I ruled that out too, and I really shouldn't just dismiss that it was one, more than one person. Oh, for sure, Paul. If he didn't leave bloody footprints, then he had to have changed his clothes. Like he left bloody. If Ethan and Xana came home alone. Pamela, I assume so, but I don't know. Like everything with them has been so unknown. So that's what I heard too, Mike. I actually heard that as well. So I don't know if that's true or not, but I had heard that. Which actually, would make sense, because I did think that they probably came up, saw Ethan, and were just like, I mean, good Lord, I would never go, if I saw my friend like that in that condition, no way am I going up to touch him to see if he's alive. I'd be running. And so if that's the case, they probably ran. And so what are they going to say? Like, is he breathing? Right. So dispatch asked, is he breathing? What would I would say, I don't know. I didn't touch him or something, like that would make sense. I wouldn't know either. And so great. If you say, no, I don't know. So he's just laying there. Then what's dispatch say? Okay. He's unconscious, They told BH to move today. She was asking stupid questions with that other one. Who's BH? Like Betty Bullhorn? Oh, she's already there? They said that didn't happen? Okay. Betty's already there? Like, I thought she was going there. Yeah, that's true, Ava. Well, I assumed that the doors to their bedrooms were all closed when they came up, and I think people that were saying, it was weird that the roommates got tattoos, I was like, I don't really think that's weird. Like, oh my gosh. So she took all the money she just earned from Quentin, and headed on over to Idaho for zero purpose because no one cares that she's there and there's nothing to protest. She's live on location at a location that's almost done being processed. Yeah. Like, you're live on location. Awesome. Callie, no, we don't know. She's just chilling. After hearing about how Kaylee speaks to people, which eyewitnesses confirms. Yeah, Tony, yes. So I agree. Yes, eyewitnesses confirmed, including her sister, that she said she was a mean girl. Yeah, Tony, I'm right there with you. As I have thought that too. You know, all you got to do is treat some psychopath like that, make them feel rejected just one time or something, embarrass them, something like that, that could send them off. Jonathan Lee Richards is there. Is he there too? Wow. Oh, they got pics from the window looking into. Wow. So when a crime scene is processed, I'm just curious about this. This popped in my head. So they come and then, like, coroners come, right? And then they look at the bodies. They get the bodies removed. How long before a crime scene then, like, okay, so obviously they have to, like, at what point does a crime scene get cleaned up, I guess, is my question. Because obviously I would imagine that the blood has not been there this whole time. So, like, at what point do they get cleaned up? And I still want to know why that marker was on that one, why they were focused on that one window in front of Maddie's car, and why there was that marker on it. And what would have made them have a ruler out for it. Mike. It's not released yet, Paul? Okay. I'm curious what a ruler, like, I thought blood, but that was on the first floor. The only thing I can think of is that maybe they saw blood on the outside of the window, like they were walking back through there and somehow blood ended up or something. The person who said they are tied to one of the surviving roommates said that two had their bedroom doors locked because, yeah, I do believe they had their bedroom doors locked. Case of the... Oh, wow, Tony, I'm gonna have to look that up. Whenever they feel they have nothing else to give. Okay, but wait, so, but they clean the blood up instantly, right? In my brain, I have to think that they do, because I can't believe that somebody would have to see that every day. As much as I love true crime, I'm really naive to some of it, I think, in some ways, of how a crime scene cleaner works and things like that. Oh my gosh. Get out of here. That I didn't know. These poor people that have, okay, obviously the victims, but the people that have to go there every day and see those pictures, because we saw the pictures, right? The picture we saw in the one window, Maddie has pictures, you can see the frames, the pictures, everything of their life, and still be in that blood. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh, my hat's off to. Oh, thanks. I have to put the F4 tornado bit. Oh, thanks, Nace. Thank you so much for coming in. It was a great discussion. I loved having you here. I'm sorry. Hey, Paul, Mike, anybody else in here that's part of law enforcement? Anybody that's had to deal with scenes like these and stuff? My hat's off to you because I couldn't do it. I just couldn't. Like, my heart breaks for those people. It's one thing to even have to see images of them and to know that they lived there once, but to I had heard that the owner usually ends up, yeah, that's what I heard, Ava, that usually it's like an owner or a family or member or something. But yeah, I can't imagine having to be there every day with that. Somebody was saying, it would smell, and so yeah. Wow. You guys, my hat's off to you, because yeah, I couldn't do it. But well, I'm gonna go raid Jen Lou's live because I'm an hour overdue. But this was a really good talk. A lot of people on Reddit who watched the full food truck from the night said they can clearly hear Kaylee using the F word at people and stuff. I'll have to see, Tony. Yeah, I've actually heard that too, so it'll be interesting. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I will talk to you, I'm sure, tomorrow, and I'll be seeing you around. Go ahead and check out Jen Lou if you can, if you got a couple minutes, and show support. And this was a great live. Thank you, guys. And again, Mike and Paul. Wow. God bless you guys. So, all right, guys. Talk to you later. Thank you.